Good afternoon, welcome to the channel again, everyone. If you've been watching my channel, you know I like Lamborghini Countach's. This is the car that I had, as a kid, a poster of in my bedroom. I had a poster of a red Lambo like this, and it was just an awesome car. I think it still looks like an awesome car. So I have a whole bunch of these made by Kyosho, but what we're looking at today is made by CMs. And if you check my channel, I have a lot of their rally cars, and I'm more often pleasantly surprised or impressed by what CMs has been able to do versus being angry and annoyed that I bought a piece of junk. So suffice to say, I think CMs is a good brand. Let's see if they did a good job on this one though. And then we're going to compare it to the Kyoshos I have later, so if you're in the market to buy a 1/64 scale Countach, maybe this video will help you decide which brand to go with. Okay, so look at the wheels first. That's a problem. There's no air passing between these holes. They do have 5 lug nut details, a center cap, but just, blanked off, so that's kind of weak. Not a fan of that. This raised marker has orange on it, looks good. It's got these bullet type of mirrors, which I have seen other Countach's have. Not the photographs I pulled up, but I have seen it, so that's okay for me. Black in this naked duct looks good. They even have like the door handle or a push button or whatever they have there, so that's pretty good detail. I don't think that's on the Kyosho. The vent detail there is nice, painted black. There's a black paint here, so that's good. It's blank casting, but it looks like it's, a vent. But this is ribbed. That sounds like plastic. Probably part of the window. And then the windows have black molding, nicely done as well. 3-dimensional and painted black. This front wiper blade is raised, painted black. You can see into the interior a little bit. It's just black cast plastic. It's a little bit glossy though. This is a bit annoying to look at, these panel gaps for the headlights, but the reason why is they have alternate versions where the lights are in the up position. I just got what I could. I'm okay with this. Clear lenses here, but I'm not seeing much detail behind them. It looks like there's a black rectangle, but I don't know. Yeah, there's some silver, so maybe that black is supposed to represent the headlight or the turn signal in there. Okay, so the Lambo crest doesn't look too bad. It's not too large, but you'll notice there's some paint rash or some sort of gunk all over this thing. That's definitely paint rash. It's an old model probably. I don't know how old though. But CMs no longer exists as an active brand. They're out of business. Okay, nice ribbing detail here. Painted silver fog lights. It says Lamborghini. Looks good. Black paint in those vents looks pretty good. This side looks pretty much the same, except now I'm noticing this is probably a separate piece. I think this blue is part of the base, which is made of plastic. I went and added a sticker here. This car was available between 1982 and 1985. The treads look good. There's staggered tires. Some extra weird tape or glue going on there. These are kind of weird. I mean, the exhaust tips look okay. They're really small, so they're, blanked off, which I can understand that. I like that there's silver paint on them. What was weird is like these weird exhaust pipes going to them. They look like rectangular pipes. I don't know why they couldn't mold those as half circles, It doesn't matter, I guess. I don't care about the bottom of a model. It is press fit together. That I do care about. If you want to customize or repaint the interior, you're going to have to drill this thing apart. Alright, so nice plastic lenses here and good separation of all the light colors. The backups, the reflector, and then the turn signal. Nice to see something on the license plate area again. But unfortunately, this black plastic bottom, that's a pretty big gap there. Pretty unsightly gap. Right? Yeah, that's very distracting to look at. Okay, kind of thick pillars here for the wings. But the wing itself looks okay. Very thin, Look how thin that rear tip comes. So it actually is shaped like an airfoil as well, so that's nice. So I think this opens, because again, you can just see this panel gap a mile away. And it some wiggles, so let's see. Yep, it opened. You know, for me, I don't really like these engines. I just don't think that's worth looking at. You know, how it just bottoms out against a shallow base, right? It's just not realistic looking. If the engine isn't literally a separate piece of plastic, it just doesn't look right to me. I would rather not have that to look at, because also the roof of this is, you know, cut away for the hinge. So the actual appearance of the outside looks worse, you know, in exchange for having an engine that's not really well detailed in the first place. That's just my opinion, of course. Alright, I don't think there's much else to talk about. Yeah, there's already paint rash going on, so, but I'm gonna guess this model is at least 10 years old. I don't know why there's tape residue on this thing. Maybe the last person had stickers like I did, or double taped it to like a stand or something like that. Okay, let's get the tray of comparison out with these two Kyoshos, which I have reviewed in the past if you want to look into my history there. So on the bottom of this Kyosho here, it says the LP500S. And then on the bottom of this Kyosho here, it says LP5000S. I found a website, lambocars.com, and I'm reading a little bit of information there. So these things have 5-liter naturally aspirated V12s, making 375 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. And then the nomenclature seems to have carried, sometimes it said 500, sometimes it said 5,000 as far as the naming on the vehicles, but I think they're probably the same vehicle. 323 of these units were sold, and that's all I learned there. Okay. Sorry that went out of focus, I was reading the computer. Alright, so let's pop this right in the middle here, the CMs. And let's just start with the top view here. Oh boy, I gotta get a different angle. I would say they're all overall length. You know, this one's actually a little smaller. These two are relatively the same. This Kyosho has side mirrors, the most realistic looking, well, compared to the photographs I pulled up. This one doesn't have any mirrors at all. So these two have recessed trapezoids. This one has raised trapezoids. So maybe the 5000S actually is a little different than the 500S. Okay. Wiper blades, they're all different. So yeah, it looks like these two are similar. This one's a little different. Okay, the badges here. These two are really small Lamborghini badges. This one's a little bit bigger, but not obnoxiously large, so it's not a problem for me. Let's try to see through this plastic here. Interesting. These two are quite low to the ground, you know, with this arrow spoiler lip here. This one doesn't. I think this is a different vehicle. It doesn't have the blended in arrow chin spoiler. It kind of has an arrow spoiler, but well, I don't know, because it does have these vent ribs there, just like the other two. Although actually this one doesn't have ribs, just a silver block. Okay. Go to the back view. They all have these like arrowhead taillights, and they all have decent separation of the colors. Now you'll see also this Kyosho also has a seam for the bottom panels, but the tighter gaps here make it look a lot better. These gaps are so large they almost look like they're supposed to open up and have like jet thrusters behind them. The way they made this one, there's no gap at all. You know, this is all the casting. But both Kyoshos have no silver paint. You know, I'm looking at the rear photo of the real car, and they have chrome exhaust tips. So CM's is closest to it, although the location is questionable. It's this has like a cover here in the middle, but the real photo is just like the raw muffler. So these could be more accurate. Definitely a lot of variances here. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I guess we'll just compare these two first. almost feel like this first Kyosho, no, those wheelbases are actually probably, well, they're close. I almost feel like the CM's wheelbase is longer. Yeah. Alright. So if I had to guess, this might be their first effort, their first attempt of a Lambo 500 or 5000. It does say 500. And then later on, maybe they came out with this. Although I tell you, this has different wheels too. These two seem to. Well, again, the CM's wheelbase seems a little bit longer. I have to pull out the calipers. This also has red paint on the plastic bottom. Go into this Kyosho here. Now the casting is all coming through. Only this little black here is plastic. But see, they painted a little blue on the plastic there. I like these exhaust pipes a little more. They're not flat rectangle shapes. You know, although the undercarriage doesn't matter so much to me again, but it might matter to you. All of these roll. Yeah, no problems on all of them. Okay. I'm gonna have to look up the wheelbase of this thing. LP500S wheelbase. 2450 millimeters is the wheelbase of this. So we'll get the calculator out. 2450. Let's put that into memory. Alright, divided by 37.4. This Kyosho is coming in at 65.5 scale. Meaning, yes, well, let me make sure here. Unfortunately, there's such a deep dish on the rear wheel. Trying to get in the center of the hubcap, or center of the wheel, center cap is difficult. $37.5. Let's try this. Now, even still, it's 65. So this is too. I think it's too small. And then this one's even smaller than this. So those Kyoshos might not be to scale, 1/64 scale at least. This one's 38.6. One's 63.5. If I had to guess, I would say the CM's is more accurate in at least the wheelbase. So I'm going to put those up again in the vertical position. But the overall length here, these two are almost identical, but this first one definitely looks a little bit shorter. It looks like a slightly shorter car. Alright. Okay, so the big detractor though for me is, I mean, if you look at the gap here, right, that weird rectangular opening really bothers me. This is perfectly fine. This also has a strange, you know, panel gap, which now makes me wonder if it opens, this Kyosho. But I don't think it would. I think they probably just made it a separate piece to get details in. See, it's press fit together, so no, I don't think it's meant to open. It's just they had to do it to get the details proper. Alright, so for me, I would have to say this is looks pretty, it's the best one for me, I think. But yeah, I will also say that the wheels are different. These are different type of wheels. You will notice both Kyosho wheels have air passing through them. You can see on the back side the little circular light coming through. So that's another detriment to the CMs. The CMs are just totally blanked off. There's no light coming through those wheels. Alright, well, I guess that's a lot there's to talk about or for you to ponder. Essentially, they all have good and bad to them. There's no one ruling Countach, you know. Dimensionally, this might be the most dimensionally accurate as far as the wheelbase. But detail-wise, it might not be the best one. At least in certain parts. So, alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this comparison. Hopefully I'll let you figure things out. If you buy some of these, maybe you buy all of them. And then you can leave a comment and, you know, tell everyone else what you think is best. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you around.